Okay, good news. No pre-lesson for this. We're diving right in. We're going to get started on example 1, and it just says a car purchased from a used car lot for $3,600 loses $600 in value each year. So what we're going to do is we're going to build this little formula, and we're going to say, hey, every single year we're going to call X. And this basically is the vehicle's initial value, okay? So if we think about this, if we say, all right, I want f of x, which is another way of saying just y, equals the original value of the car minus $600 every year. See, now we can kind of take out our magnifying glass and say, what are these parts? X is number of years that go by, and Y is the value of the car. So if you think about it, see, if we talk about the value of the car right now, we'd say 0 years, 0 times this is 0, so the value of the car is 3,600. So this is just how to get this problem kick-started. Now, just so you know, this problem is kind of unique. It's just building a little formula, using some common sense, and then plugging some stuff in just to manipulate this formula. Example 2, 3, and 4 is on the back, are more related to what we've been doing in previous lessons. So this is kind of a wild card problem, and we're just going to use it. So here we go. Find the Blue Book value. That's from kbb.com. That's where you can go to type in your vehicle and all the details about it, and it will kind of tell you a general area of where your value of your car is. But it says, find the Blue Book value of a car after 18 months. Now remember what we assigned X, number of years. So this is just saying let X equal 1.5 years and plug it in. So we're going to get Y equals 3,600 minus 600 times 1.5. So this is just 3,600 minus 900, which would be $2,700. That's how much your vehicle would be worth. Cars do not go up in value 99.999% of the time. Of course, there's an exception. But when will the Blue Book value be 2,600? Now remember, the value of the car is what we assigned Y. So this is saying when. You know what that means? Find the number of years. You know what that means? Find X. And you kind of have to think like that so you can keep track of what to, where to put things. So 2,600 is going to go in here. And then we're just going to write down the rest of this problem. And then we're going to do some math. So subtract 3,600, subtract 3,600. I didn't mean divide, I mean subtract. So what we get here is negative 1,000 equals negative 600x. Divide by negative 600, gone. Divide by negative 600. Now, these cancel, so they'll be positive. We're going to chop off some of these zeros, and I get 10/6, which reduces to 5/3, which is another way of saying 1 2/3 years. And if you had to do it in months, that'd be 1 year, 8 months. So what's the right answer? Well, this is, and this is, and this is. So you should be able to answer it any way that the test or quiz expects you to answer it. Okay, that is a unique problem, but you're going to see a pattern develop in example 2, 3, and 4. It's kind of like do this and then do this, do this and then do this. This is what I would refer to as the meat and potatoes, example 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to start out the problem. It says at noon. See, typically that's significant. A pump started emptying an oil storage tank at a constant rate. At 1 p.m., see that's 1 hour later, I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. There were 2,040 barrels left. At 3 p.m., there were 1,320 barrels left. Now, I'm going to take this information, and I'm going to take this information, and I'm going to show you something. So at 3 p.m. means after 3 hours, so watch this, there's my time, and then after 3 hours, because from noon to 3 is 3 hours, there was 1,320 barrels left. But the pink stuff, how long did it take from noon to 1? Well, that's 1 hour. After 1 hour, there was 2,040 barrels left. And now this should be in your comfort zone, because now we have enough information to build an equation. I'm going to call this my x sub 1, y sub 1, because the information came first. Call this x2, y2, because it came second. By the way, I could call this x1, y1, and x2, y2. It's all right. It'll work itself out. And I'm going to find the slope. So I'm going to go y sub 2 minus y sub 1 all over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. All right, so this would be 680, and that'd be negative 720. 3 minus 1 is 2. So that's negative 360. What did you just find? Your slope. Remember, this is my slope formula. So now I have y equals negative 360x plus b. How am I going to find my y-intercept for my formula? Plug this in or this. I'm just going to go ahead with this one. So my y is 2,040. My x is 1. That's why I picked this one. Now that's negative 360, so I got to add 360, and I get 2,400 equals b. Now if I put this together with this, my slope, I have y equals mx plus b. Okay. And the question asks right here, at what time will there be 240 barrels left? So this is saying find x. And this is saying 240 barrels left, so I'm going to put 240 in for y, because that's what y is represented the whole time, number of barrels. And it's asking me when, so I need to find x, and that's why we built that original equation. So now we're going to subtract 2,400, subtract 2,400. All we do is avoid making silly mistakes. So this would be negative 2160? No. Yes. Equals negative 360x. Now I'm not going to risk that. For some reason, I just don't feel like that's correct, but I think I am, but I don't want to make a mistake right now. Yeah, 2160. So now I'm going to divide by negative 360, divide by negative 360. Give me a second. 360, that's 6. Boy, you gotta love it when that stuff happens. So that's 6. 6 what? Hours. But it says at what time. So this all started at noon, and it's asking me at what time, and it takes 6 hours for all this to happen. So I know that that's going to be 6 p.m. And there you go. Now, if that one kind of threw you for a loop, watch this pattern. We're going to develop this and this for the next 2 problems, and you're going to see a little pattern. So it says it costs JS Electronics Company $1,600, here it comes, to manufacture 14 DVD players. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to think of it like this. 14 DVD players equals $1,600. Now here comes the next one. $2,400 for 30. Now you got to keep things consistent. Notice in here I put the number of DVD players. So I need to go like this. Isn't that funny? DVD. Old math problem already. All right. There's my setup. What do I do after I get my setup? Lock and load. Call this x1, y1. Call this x2, y2. And what you're doing is you're building a y equals mx plus b formula. that's going to help you answer the final question. And so here we go. Find slope. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Just got to do the math. 800 over 16, that equals 50. Now remember, that's my slope. So I'm going to go y equals mx plus b. And I'm going to pick one of these 2 points. Looks like they're both equally difficult. So I'll just pick this first one. 1600 equals 50 times 14 plus b. Now, this is the same thing as 1600. That's 500 plus 200, which is 700 plus b. So if I subtract 700, I'm going to get 900 equals b. All that work so I can have a formula, y equals mx plus b. Now I can answer this final question. At this rate, what would the cost? See, that's a huge hint. That's saying find y. How do I know that? Cost was my y. Cost was my y. So that tells me what to stick the 60 in for. Stick the 60 in for x. So I'm going to go y equals 50 times 60 plus 900. Well, that's 3,000 plus 900, $3,900 to produce 60 DVD players. All right, running out of time, but I hope you're starting to see the pattern. Okay, so now look, it says a load of 6 kilograms attached to the bottom of a coil spring stretches the spring to a length of 67. So I'm going to say, aha, I'm going to put the weight in here. That's my x. I'm going to put what the coil stretched to. That's my y. Now there is a little twist on this one. But it says a load of 16. So that's where I'm going to put here, but a different one. 16 stretches the coil to 92. So now this is my x1, y1. This is my x2, y2. I'm going to do my slope formula. y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So I get 25 all over 10. That would reduce to 5 halves. That's my slope. All right. But now I got to find my y-intercept. So I'm going to pick this one. I'm going to shortcut. Well, no, I won't. No, I won't. Y equals mx plus b. So y equals m. That's 5 halves. X, that's 6, plus b. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 3 times 5 is 15, so I'm going to subtract 15, subtract 15. 67 minus 15 is 50, almost made a mistake there. 2 equals b. So my equation is y equals mx plus b. Now look at this question. Here comes the tricky part. Find the natural unstretched length of the spring. You know what that means? No weight. You know what that means? Let x be 0. See this right here? That's our weight. See that right there? That's our weight. So we're going to stick x is 0 right in there, and we're going to get y equals 5 halves times 0 plus 52. Well, that's pretty simple. Y equals 52. There's the initial weight. Or it's the natural length of the unstretched spring. There you go. I got it out. Whew.